Revised Philippine Coast Guard Law, Barangay Health Workers Act, Magna Carta for Barangays at ang Secrecy of Bank Deposits Law. Unang-una po sa aking listahan ang Anti-Online Gambling Act kung saan maglalagay po tayo ng blanket ban sa lahat ng uri ng online gambling. Hindi na po ito basta regulation, total ban na po ito. Para tuluyan na natin matigil ang online gambling na umuubos ng pera ng ating mga kababayan mula sa iba't ibang sektor. And similar to how we banned isabong, similar how we banned Pogo, ito ay magandang hakbang para matanggal na po itong addiction sa ating mga kababayan. From our elderly to our children, it is so easy to fall victim to the silent epidemic of online gambling. Anyone can easily fake their identities and their ages online. Kahit mga minor de edad, kayang gamitin ang mga online banking accounts at e-wallets ng kanilang mga magulang para makataya sa mga online gambling sites na ito. At dahil madaling gamitin at nakaka-addict laruin, talagang nalululong po ang ating mga kababayan dito sa online gambling na to, lalong-lalo na ang mga kabataan. At sino naman hindi ma-addict? All over the internet and along our busiest highways, our biggest celebrities are promoting online gambling with colorful, shiny advertisements that deceive our people into thinking that these games are nothing but harmless fun, na masayang ilaro itong mga games na ito. Pero hindi lang oras ang nauubos dito, kundi life savings ng ating mga kababayan. Kaya dapat na po natin ipagbawal ito kahit ang mga authorized online games ng PAGCOR. The taxes earned are not worth the social cost. Nasisira na po ang buhay ng ating mga kababayan. Nag-aaway-away na po ang ating mga pamilya. Tumataas ang kaso ng krimen. Nababaon na sa gabundok na utang ang manggagawang Pilipino, which then severely affects their mental health. Marami na rin pong kaso ng suicides related to gambling debts. And allow me to read the message from our mayor from Kibawe, Bukidnon. He said here, because nakita po niya yung post ko, babasahin ko munang Bisaya, na diri bro, nagpusta, teenager, online gambling, napildi, natalo ng 100 pesos, gisave sa iyang parents. So, tinago po, no, savings po ng kanyang mga tatay at nanay. Siguro less fortunate po ito under living, just below the poverty line. Less than a month, 100 pesos. 100 pesos lamang. Less than a month, ito po yung message sa akin.
Not 100,000, 100
No,
pesos.
100 pesos. Less than a month, napusta po siya, wala kay pildiman. Naulaw siya sa iyang parents, naghikog, nag-suicide. Imagine 100 pesos, then less than a month, nagpusta ulit siya, natalo, yung bata, nag-suicide. No, this is a true story. And then I said, normal kayo mga bata na 16 years old, varsity. This is the kid that killed himself. I'm not, of course, allowed to mention his name for their privacy. But normal kayo nga bata, 16 years old, varsity player, 1 week before nag-start game, July 12, nagpakamatay, nagpahikog, o naghikog, yung bigti. Kay ulaw kaayo sa iyang mga parents, ulaw, nahiya po siya sa kanyang mga magulang. Kaya, these are true stories. We're not making this up.
So sir, considering na rampant na yung online gaming, hindi na pwedeng i-regulate lang, talagang total ban ang isusulong niya?
Well, ang problema kasi dito sa addiction na ito, apektadong lahat eh. Alam mo, unlike other addictions. For example, alcoholism. Yung tao lamang pong iinom at siya lang ang mapapahamak at kung nagkasakit at cirrhosis, siyang namamatay. Dito sa online gambling, let's face it, pondo ng pamilyang ginagamit ng mga pumupusta. Naalala ko po yung post ni Kyle Jennerman, yung si Kulas, Becoming Filipino. Nagkita po kami nung isang araw lamang, nag-lunch po kami, at kinikwento nga niya sa akin kung gaano kalungkot siya na nakikita po niya yung jeepney driver habang kumukuha ng bayad ay naglalaro po ng scatter. Itong, ano ba yan, yung parang slot machine. At nakikita niya, pindot ng driver, natatalo. Kasi pag nagpipindot ka, hindi ka na nanalo, pindot ulit siya at 10 peso increments. So sabi niya sa akin, that whole 30-minute stretch, mga 500 pesos ang natalo ng driver na habang naglalaro nitong scatter na ito. So imagine, 500 pesos, you lose that, yan ang income mo sa isang buong araw na pagbiyahe na dapat sana binigay mo na sa mga anak nyo yan, sa asawa mo, para mabayaran ang pangangailangan sa bahay. At kaya ako, I'm going to make this an advocacy of mine. It's not enough to do regulation kasi nakita mo naman na yun eh. Lalabas yung that's why na-late ako ng konti dahil gusto ko makita mismo, ako mismo sarili kong makita, saksihan itong online gaming na ito. It is so easy to enter the online gaming sites. And pag may verified GCash account ka, agad-agad automatic makapasok ka na. Makakataya ka na.
Regardless kung anong edad mo.
Nakalagay lang doon, you must be 18 years old, you must know the ills of gambling. May konting pabala lang. Tapos, press I agree. Pag pinindot mo na yung I agree na yan, pasok ka na kaagad. Laro ka na.
Na walang verification kung 18-year-old nga ba yun, sir?
Oo, actually 21 dapat, but walang verification. Well, kasi yung ginamit natin GCash ay adult naman. No? Kasi yung GCash meron naman silang, in fairness sa GCash meron naman silang verification method. But what people are doing to circumvent this is basically, sometimes hinihiram nila ang may 21 na edad, di ba? Babayaran nila, they use the money, or sometimes they put up fake GCash accounts. And we've seen it happen because ang dami-dami pong scams, no? Since Senator Grace po passed the SIM registration, ang dami pa rin online scams. So, nakakalusot pa rin sila. So, it is still easy for them to be able to get a GCash account, a PayMaya account, or all kinds of e-wallets to play these games. The child that I mentioned na nag-suicide, that is just one of several thousands that are happening as we speak. No? Yung mga riders, mga farm workers po namin sa Bukidnon. Tinanong ko, out of 45 of our farm workers sa Bukidnon, almost half of them may accounts dito sa... Naglalaro sila, almost half. So, tinatanong ko sa kanila. Sabi ko, anong ginagawa? Ba't kayo naglalaro? Panglibang lang po, pang-relax lang. Pero, tinatanong ko, they lose an average of 500 to 1,000 pesos. Agricultural minimum wage earners ito. Di ba? Na-addict na. Magkano lang naman yung kanilang disposable income? Kaya, ang balita sa akin, guys, no, this is a serious issue. I spoke to manufacturers. I spoke to mall operators doon sa probinsya. Hindi to yung mga SM. I don't know. I don't know the facts. Maybe we'll call them when we get to the hearings. We'll call SM, Ayala Malls. Bumagsak ang sales. Nakausap ko dito, mga Ororama. Doon sa probinsya namin, yung mga local mall operators. Bumagsak ang sales. Nagtataka sila, ba't matamlay ang sales na yun? In other words, these last few months, matamlay ang sales. They also told me their suspicion is online gaming. Kasi, nauubos na yung pera mo para madala mo yung anak mo sa Jollibee. Di ba? Imbis na madadala mo sila sa Jollibee, manunod kayo ng isang pelikula sa sinihan, hindi na nila madadala dahil nauubos na eh.
Sa sugal.
Wala, sa sugal. Sa online gaming, nauubos na. And even we asked around when I had a meeting with the NGCP recently, even power consumption is down. Ibig sabihin, wala na masadong siguro dahil nauubos sa sugal, baka hindi na gumagamit ng air condition, electric fan na lang. Mga ganun klaseng mga situations. But we cannot deny that manufacturing is down, the consumption is down, consumer spending is down. Would it be because of this? If you ask me, my opinion, yes. And the proliferation of over 5 to 10 million Filipinos in online gaming, right now kasi on different websites, I read that about 5 million, between 5 to 10 million Filipinos doing online gaming every day. So kung yan yung mga padre de pamilya, di ba? Yan yung mga nanay, yan yung mga nakatanggap ng ayuda, yan yung mga tanggap ng 15, 30 na sweldo.
Itinaya
na yung ano nila. Itinaya na yung kanilang kita, no? Kanilang tulong ay best na ibibigay sa pamilya, naubos sa sugal. Ang yumayaman, iilan lang. And there's only about 20 or 30 online gaming sites. These are now probably the most richest Filipinos in the country. At what expense? At what social cost? Guys, let me state this, the specifics, and let me state some facts. We are now the #1 gambling capital of Asia. Alam naman ninyo yan, you can go online. Yung, it's this website, C-Asia. Philippines is #1. #2 ang Cambodia. #3 ang Macau. #4 ang Vietnam. #5 ang South Korea. In terms of number of casinos. Sa online gaming, we're also close to being #1. The top 5 countries for online slot machine players, online yan for 2023. #1 is Indonesia. #2 is Cambodia. #3 is the Philippines. #4 is Myanmar. And #5 is Russia. Okay? So, top 3 tayo. Top 1 na nga tayo sa casinos. Top 3 na tayo sa slot machines. And this is in 23 statistics, 2023. Paano kayo na yun? Parang mas accessible na po siya. So ano pong plano natin? We'll make our prohibited acts under our bill, Senate Bill number 142. That's Senate Bill number 142. It is the prohibited acts, establishment, operation, conduct of online gaming in the Philippines, which shall cover those offshore or foreign operated digital gambling platforms or applications. #2, acceptance of any form of betting or wager by digital gambling platforms or application through online. #3, facilitating the use of electronic wallet or e-wallet and other digital payment systems for online gambling. Pagbabawal po natin yan. #4, advertising through traditional media, online, and social media, including posts of content creators, vloggers, influencers, which promote online gambling and specific digital gambling platforms. So, ang gagawin po natin, website blocking, application removal, mandatory response period for all takedown and blocking of removal request issued by PAGCOR, the DOJ, of course, reporting and compliance mechanism, and penalties for non-compliance. So, yan po ang gagawin natin. There's also a list of penalties. For example, those who violate Section 4 and 5 will be met with the following. First offense, 20 million peso fine and suspension of license of 6 months. Second offense will be a fine not less than 50 million pesos or suspension of 1 year. And the third succeeding offense is the penalty of 100 million pesos and permanent revocation of its license permit operated by PAGCOR that PAGCOR will impose. And there's also the criminal act. The chief operating officer, president of the company shall be penalized with imprisonment of not more than 6 years by the court. So, also that the license and permit to be revoked under this provision for those registered gambling, these are for registered gambling operators with physical operations such as casinos, which are also into online gambling, and digital payment systems like GCash, PayMaya, and credit card companies. So, yun lamang po. Of course, I'm willing to answer other questions about my other bills. But ito pang ipaglalaban po natin. I've gotten so much support from different LGUs. Ang dami pong LGUs sumusuporta nito. Ang dami pong grupo ang nagpapadala po ng pasalamat sa akin online sa Facebook ko. And we have all sorts of NGOs that are really pushing for this. Sana wag na natin pag-usapan ng regulation kasi yung regulation nalulusutan eh.
So, sir,
Nalulusutan. Kaya sana tulong-tulong po tayong pagbawal itong online gaming para sa ating bansa.
sir, appeal ba kayo na maisama ito sa priority kapag nag-LEDAC meeting?
Yes, if I had an opportunity na makausap po ang ating Pangulo o mga leaders natin, sana po maisama nila ito, pag-usapan nila ito sa LEDAC. Because the social cost is not worth it. It's not worth it. Nakita naman po natin nangyari sa isabong. Yung mga naglaro po ng isabong, biglang nabigyan ng napakalaking kapangyarihan that they already decided to take lives even into their own hands. So we want to remove this type of sickness in our society. And as I mentioned earlier, domino effect na ito. Siyempre, pag medyo ubus ka sa utang, na-addict ka sa utang, at sa gambling, at nagkaroon ka ng napakalaking utang, ay domino effect na yan. May narinig po ako na may isang lalaki, ninakaw nila yung tip box ng restaurant last week. I read it on a news item. Dahil daw, babayaran daw niya, gagamitin daw niya sa online gaming at babayaran daw niya yung mga kautang niya dito. So, before you know it, we'll be a nation of gamblers and we'll be a nation sinking into this gambling addiction.
Yung online gaming giant DigiPlus Interactive Corporation, which operates Bingo Plus, Arena Plus, and Game Zone, sumulat sila sa Philippine Stock Exchange. And they said that the recent price shocks had been triggered by the filing of the online gambling regulatory bill and online gambling prohibition bills at the Senate and House of Representatives. So, ibig sabihin,
But that's part of the game. I mean,
kahit mawalan sila.
sin yan eh. Alam mo yung kung mga may sin taxes, di ba? Ano ba yung sin taxes? Yung
Sigarilyo.
alcohol, sigarilyo, sugal. Ano yan eh? It's an item, guys. It is a game. It is a vice that is not needed by society, di ba? So, pag pumasok ka dito sa industriya na ito, it's fair game. It's fair game. So, maraming bansa, like for example, Singapore, heavily regulated yung casino. As a matter of fact, yung casino nila ay nakikita lamang sa isang lugar. And they're only given one license. And locals are not, I believe locals are not allowed to play. Foreigners lang. Hinihingan ka ng passport. Kung wala ka foreign passport at Singaporean ka, hindi ka makapasok doon. And many other countries have banned online gaming, have banned casinos. As a matter of fact, sa United States, although they have Las Vegas, but you cannot just find an ordinary casino anywhere in the United States. For example, you're in Michigan or Connecticut or you're in California, kailangan mo pumunta sa Indian reservation. Yung casino sa California is in Indian reservation. Babiyahe ka pa ng malayo para pumunta doon. And it's not accessible everywhere. Here in the Philippines, you don't need to go to a casino. Ito lang, kailangan mo. Parang nagkakasino ka na. And minimum bet, by the way, is 1 peso. Sa casino, walang tumatanggap na 1 peso. Kaya tahimik lang ako pagdating sa casino. Kasi sa casino, kailangan may disposable cash ka, dala mo eh. So, halos middle income to mayayaman ang naglalaro doon. Di ba?
Sir, kapag nag-implement ng total ban sa online gaming, sa pag-aaral nyo, magkano magiging foregone revenue?
Yan ang hindi ko pa alam. We'll find out. Do you have the list?
At kung meron man, hindi yun enough?
47. Ito dyan. Sa on electronic bill.
I'll find out from my staff. I had it researched.
On electronic bill.
So 47 billion.
A year.
A year mawawala.
So, maliit
But we
lang
can,
kumpara dun
47 billion is small. Buti sana we're earning 500 billion. But at the expense of our people. Remember that collection is taxes collected for the people who bet. Obviously, the more taxes earned, the more taxes collected. That means more people are playing and bigger amounts. So,
Ay kung hindi na nila gagamitin sa pagsusugal, ipamimili na nila, sir, ng pagkain na
Consumption
may
will
boost
increase,
din.
tama. Mabuboost din kasi yung consumption, di ba? May disposable income sila. Turuan naman natin yung kababayan natin na magkaroon ng savings, di ba? Turuan naman natin yung mga kababayan na magkaroon ng savings para sa kanilang pang-araw-araw na panggastusan. For example, pati yung mga patrikula daw ng mga anak, di ba? Nagagamit na dito sa online gaming na ito. Kaya sorry na lang anak, di ka na makakapag-aral dahil naubos yung savings natin dahil sa online gambling. So these are the ill effects of online gaming. The 47 billion is not enough to justify that. As a matter of fact, napakaliit niyan. Proper tax collection lang ng BIR, proper tax collection lang ng Bureau of Customs, ay makukuha mo na yan eh. Di ba? Yung mga tigil na yung mga under the table na mga racket nila dun, eh talagang mako-cover nila yan. And you can go other taxes. We can do like for example, yung disposable plastics tax. We can even do a tax on yung tinatawag nila na yung sa chichirya. We can do also that. Oh, yung
Junk food.
junk food tax, you can do that, no? Small amounts to be able to recover that. Kasi ayaw naman natin din yung mga bata natin, mga anak natin, kain ng junk food, di ba? Sa America, ganun, they have a junk food tax. So, okay, this 47 billion can be recovered in many ways. Just efficient tax collection alone, makukuha na naman, income na natin yan. Kakaroon ng income na yan.
Sir, kung hindi magkakaroon ng batas tungkol dyan sa pag-total ban sa online gaming, ano yung scenario nakikita mo in the future mangyayari sa bansa natin?
Wow. Well, right now, we're the #1 gambling capital of Asia. And you can see na matamlay ang ating bansa. No? They say our economy is growing, but I really actually don't see it. I'm with due respect, no? Consumption is down. Yung mga malls, pag maglakad kayo sa malls, konti lang yung tao gumagastos na yun. So lalo na pag na-addict na po ang ating mga kababayan dito sa online gaming, we will no longer have high consumption of our economy. And right now, that is what's running our economy. Our economy is being run on consumption spending. On spending. Yun yung OFWs. Isa pa yan. Eto, maganda. Yung mga OFWs, ang dami po nag-message sa akin kagabi, sa aking Facebook. Sang-ayon kami dyan, Senator Subiris, salamat at sana ipaglaban nyo ito. Dahil yung pinapadala naming pondo sa aming mga pamilya, ginagamit lang sa online gaming. Can you imagine? Trabaho ng trabaho yung nanay, trabaho ng trabaho yung tatay sa Saudi Arabia, sa Kuwait, sa Europe, nagsasakripisyo para sa kanilang pamilya. Pagdala ng pondo, ilalagay sa GCash, gagamitin sa scatter, at kung ano-ano pang mga online casinos, online slot machines. At nauubos lamang. So that's what's going to happen. Consumption, consumerism will go down, and that's what's running our economy now. Kasi mahina yung manufacturing natin. We're almost zero increase in manufacturing. Exports. Very, very small number of exports. On a recent online survey of ABS-CBN, sang-ayon ba kayo na ipagbawal ang online gaming sa Pilipinas? Ang result was overwhelmingly in favor of the ban. And even online, makikita mo online, meron mga heart and then yung parang ibang icon para hindi pagbawal. Like this one, it's 175,000. There's another one that I saw, overwhelming then about 50 plus thousand were against online gaming, and only 500 plus were for online gaming. So it's becoming to be a scourge in our society, guys. I'm letting everyone know that this is becoming to be worse. Ganito nag-umpisa ganito lang nag-umpisa yan. Yung sa isabong, di ba? Parang walang namamansin dyan. After 2 to 3 years, pumunta nga ako ng Siargao kasi I go fishing sa Siargao. Yung mga nagtatambay lang doon, lahat sila nakaisabong, nakapapanood ng video. Sabi ko, nako, this is going to be another problem in our country, and it became a big problem in our country. So, this online gaming has only been siguro popularized in the last 2 years. So if we continue this in the next 2 years, by the end of the term of the president, we'll be a nation of online gamblers, a nation of addicted gamblers, and a drop, and you'll see all across the board in all sectors, there will be a drop in productivity, drop in consumer spending, there will be a drop even in energy utilization kasi wala na sila pambayad ng kuryente. And this will also increase the number of crimes, petty crimes, theft, scamming, and all that, para na makapagbayad dito sa addiction na ito. So we have to stop this. We have to stop this. Or else, kawawa po yung ating mga anak, ating mga kababayan.
So sir, considering na maraming sumusuporta dyan sa proposed bill nyo na yan, sa tingin nyo, mabilis siyang maaprubahan dito sa Senate?
Alam mo, problema natin, malalakas na individual ang kalaban natin dito. Mayayaman po ito.
Nakikinabang dito sa online gaming, sir?
Mayayaman po ang mga kalaban natin dito. We all know that the owners of online gaming sites are very wealthy and powerful individuals. It's going to be a tough fight. Marami akong kausap na mga senador, halos kalahati naman ay
Supportive.
pabor dito sa ipagbawal ang online gaming or high regulation. Pero hindi pa natatakot ako, hindi pa lumalabas yung mga, syempre ang hindi pa nagfe-flex ng muscle itong mga maglalabi against the banning. And that's the fight that I need the people themselves. Kailangan talaga natin dito yung taong bayan. Yung sila na mismo, sukang-suka na sila, na sila na mismo magsasalita. Kasi sasabihin ko na yun sa ating mga kababayan, mga makapangyarihan ng kalaban natin dito. And I need your support. We all need your support. Those who are trying to ban this need your support. Para may tuloy natin ang laban na ito. Ako till the end. I will vote for it till the very end. Bahala na nung magalit sila sa akin. Marami talaga mga bilyonaryo matatamaan dito. And I think we all know how they play the game. And I hope that the House of Representatives, okay na dito sa Senate, kasi sa Senate, we do things sometimes that are unpopular to certain sectors, but it's good for the people. Pero ang apela ko po ay sa House of Representatives. Ang aking asawa po ay nag-file din po similar measure. All 4 Bukidnon congressmen filed the measure on banning also online gaming. So sana mag-follow suit ang iba't ibang mga congressmen and women na ipagbawal natin itong online gaming.
Sir, the mere fact na mahaba yung proseso ng pag-approve ng isang batas, tanong ni Nympha, yung kasing sa Pogo at Isabong, napatigil muna through executive order. So mananawagan
Yes.
ka ba na mag-issue muna?
Malaking
For the
bagay,
meantime.
alam mo Ate Sally, sa ating mga mahal na Senate media, malaking bagay na ang posisyon ng Presidente ay mapapakinggan natin dito. Malaking bagay yun. Dahil tamang sinabi mo, yung Isabong pinatigil po ni
Digong.
PRRD yan, ni Tatay Digong. Yung Pogo pinatigil po ni Presidente Marcos. So, biro mo yung Pogo nga that was offshore gaming. So, hindi apektado ang kababayan natin dito. Ang apektado mga taga-China. Kasi it was focused on China. Yung games na yan, offshore gaming yan Ang nangyari lang, dahil nga sa daming Chinese na nakatira dito, unfortunately, we had all sorts of crimes happening within their community na spill over din sa atin. No, yung mga triad pumasok dito, iba't ibang gang, iba't ibang sindikato. Kaya nagalit na rin po tayo, nakasama na rin po yung pagsispiya. No? Papasok dito bilang Pogo worker, nag-spy pala for the Chinese government. So, the President put his foot down, President Marcos put his foot down, sabi niya, no more Pogo, dun sa zona niya na pinalapakan ko po dahil po kami po anti-Pogo. So, dito din sa online gaming, it will take the President a lot of political will. Because Filipino operated ito, marami din siyang kaibigan na nagmamayari nito mga kumpanya na ito. And I think he will show great leadership. No, he will show great leadership if he puts an end to this online gaming and gambling for the Filipino people. Na makikita talaga na without fear or favor, for the good of the country, we can earn this 47 billion elsewhere. Let's stop online gaming. I would love to hear that from the president, even in his State of the Nation address, or some sort of statement saying that let us allow Congress to study the ban on online gaming. Diba? Ganun muna. Hindi mo moto proprio. Pwede rin ganun. Let us allow Congress to study the ill effects of online gaming. Give me the report and I will act. I will act on it as soon as possible. Yan ang magandang statement. Sana, no? Para maingganyo po tayo.
Okay, related question, may Ann?
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, sir. Sir, last week kasi nag-file din si Senator Win about online gambling. Pero mas gusto niya, sir, yung strict regulation. Kasi kapag daw total ban, malamang na magkaroon ng underground operation lang.
Well, yan din ang sinabi nila sa isabong, pero wala naman ako nakikita ng isabong na underground operation. Hinahabol ka agad ng DOJ tsaka ng PNP yung kung merong mga patado ng yung ano tawag dyan yung
Guerrilla.
guerrilla. Oh, sa amin may tawag na sa Bisaya I forgot. Anyway, it's a Bisaya term na doon lang sa barangay tapos binivideo ay yung laban. Oh.
You don't think, di kayo naniniwala na posibleng magkaroon ng underground ops kapag tinutal ban niyo, sir? Kasi meron at merong sugarol po eh.
Meron sugarol, pero my dear, ang mangyayari dyan, pasaway ang Pilipino eh. Magaling sila makalusot eh. Magaling sila makalusot dito sa online gaming. And there will be groups that will cater, no, to mga Pilipino na pasaway. 'Di ba? Nangyayari 'yun eh. Napakadali nga na yung pumasok sa kanilang mga websites. So I believe in a total ban. Why? Because then we can monitor and we can penalize. Matatakot na kasi yung Paymaster, matatakot ng GCash. They'll be afraid to use their e-platforms. Without the e-platforms being utilized, then that's a different story. Pero habang nandyan yung e-platforms, pati yung credit cards, wala.
At saka law
Di mo mawala
enforcement.
yung addiction. Oh.
Okay, same question. Ay, okay ka na, may Ann? Mav.
Sir, clarification lang po, yung 47B, that's only first quarter 2025? First 3 months of the year lang.
Yung foregone revenue. Ay, yung revenue.
Opo, yung revenue. So, kung parang if we will go with this number, sir, parang
104.
bigger industry pa pala to kaysa sa Pogo.
Yes. And the bad part about it, it's utilizing Filipinos,
Not foreigner.
not foreigners. The bad part about this online gaming, let's say, for example, they earn 160 billion a year, but they're earning it from the people who are gambling on the field. Yung masa. Masa yan.
Yung social...
Social ills nga ang mangyayari dyan. This is
Something alarming na, sir, itong ganung nangyayari.
quite alarming. Ako na nagulat. You're right. You pointed out that it's only for 1 quarter. That even alarms me even more. Kasi that's revenue coming from the taxes collected on the betting. Ibig sabihin niya, napakarami na ng
lulong.
Pilipino. Baka hindi na ako maniwala na 5 to 10 million na. Baka 20 million lang. Maganda dyan, sa mga hearings na igagawa po natin para dito sa online gaming na ito, we're going to ask all the e-wallets and credit card companies to tell us more or less the number of participants or the number of users that use their e-wallets to pay for this online gaming. Kasi we'll know the figure, 90 million pala. I'm sorry, Ate Sel. Yung what I found out is GCash has 90 million users. And I think PayMaya has about half of their users. So I'd like to find out, it'll be interesting to find out ilan dun sa 90 million ang naka-log on dito sa online gaming. With secrecy, of course, and privacy being the utmost priority. Numero lang, malalaman natin yan.
Sir, on the... Ay, okay, related question. Raymond and then Marlon.
Related do sa gusto niyo magsalita si Presidente, would you want na mabanggit nito upcoming SONA?
Sana.
Actually, susona tayo this July.
Sana po. Sana po banggitin po ng ating Pangulo itong issue ng online gaming, online gambling. Maganda pong sabihin niya na kung hindi po niya munang ilalabas ang outright ban katulad ng ginawa niya po sa Pogo, pwede po niyang banggitin na I would like to instruct the different agencies of government to make a study on the social ills and the effects of social effects of online gambling, and at the same time we will await the report of Congress and the Senate on the investigations in aid of legislation against online gambling or regulating online gambling. That would be a start. Magandang mapakinggan natin yan kay Pangulo, itong SONA. Dahil grabe na, no? Grabe na. Itong pangyayari nga dito sa binanggit ng mayor namin sa Kibaoy, Bukidnon, isa lamang po to sa napakarami. I got LGUs from Bataan yesterday. They sent me messages through Facebook. LGUs ng sa Visayas, yung mga Samar, Eastern Samar, they sent me also, may vlogger doon, nagpadala din sa akin ng private message. Ganon din po ang story nila, ang kwento nila. Ay, ang dami po nilang kilala, nagbigti, dami namin kilala, nagnakaw, nasa presinto na yon dahil ninakaw yung pera ng kapitbahay dahil nga para mabayaran niya yung GCash ng kanyang magulang dahil ginamit nga dito sa online gambling na ito. So
Okay,
it's getting out of hand. It's getting out of hand. So I appeal to the President, Mr. President, let's do something about this. We can't just take this sitting down. That income is not enough justification for the social ills that it will cause our country. And before you leave in 2028, at hindi po natin aksyonan ito, our country might be in a worse off position than what you entered it in 2022.
Okay, Marlon and then Camille.
Sir, will you also make the same appeal to celebrity endorsers? Kasi as you pointed out, marami naglalaro kasi maraming celebrity endorsers, influencers.
Sana. Dito sa ating panukala, bawal na. Actually, sa panukala din ni Senator Win, under the regulations bill, tigil na din. Tigil na yung advertisements. It's gonna be treated like cigarettes and alcohol, basically tobacco, which is no more advertising in TV and in online platforms. But in my case, of course, once we prohibit it, talagang mawawala na yan. So, maapela din kami sa mga sikat na mga celebrities. Let's not use your position to encourage more online gaming. Nakikita nyo naman yung nangyayari na yun. Baka pwede na kayo mag-pull out mismo. Alam ko malaking bayad sa inyo. But pag-isipan nyo naman na nangyayari na yun sa ating mga kabataan, sa ating mga kababayan. No? So, maybe it can be voluntary at this point in time. No? Maybe it can be voluntary. Maybe the advertising companies can put down the big, huge posters and billboards in EDSA and all over. Lalaki ng mga billboards, lalaki ng mga posters sa EDSA, nakakalagay doon. Mga iba't ibang online gaming facilities. Sana take down na natin yan. Let's take it out. Let's start correcting these social ills. We have to start fighting this.
So may info ka ba kung may mga public officials, lawmakers na involved na rin sa online gaming?
Marami. Kaya nga sabi ko, makapangyarihan.
Kaya,
Meron akong alam na, of course, hindi ko na. Meron akong alam na mga lawmakers and of course, officials and very influential people that are in this business. So, again,
it will be tough.
I mean, I'm not against, for example, yung casinos per se. It's there, legal na yan eh. Legal na yan, nandyan na yan. For example, yung mga bingo sa mall. Okay na rin yun kasi okay na rin yun. Pupunta ka talaga sa mall, dala-dala mo yung pera mo, bibili ka ng ticket, okay na yun eh. Yung sa sweepstakes, okay na yun eh. Ang problema, accessibility.
Ayan, sa online.
Kayo, baka may mga teenagers kayo na anak na hindi nyo alam, naglalaro na pala, hindi nyo alam, di ba? Kasi halos lahat ng bata na yun, may GCash eh.
Okay, Camille and then Nympha.
Sir, nasabi niyo nga po grabe yung epekto nito. But with the current situation here in the Senate, what are the implications of a split Senate on the passage of key legislation? Split po tayo talaga ngayon eh. So, how will it affect?
Well, kaya importante nagkaka-caucus.
Hindi usong caucus ngayon,
Kasi
sir.
kung walang caucus, wala kaming
Ay, matapit
consensus.
Na. Mamaya, punta na tayo dyan.
Di ba? Dapat may consensus. And I think, I don't want to put any malice on any of my colleagues, but ang akin lang, I presume na sila lahat ay pabor na mawala itong social ill na ito na addiction to gambling. I think all of them would want. How they approach it, siguro yan ang diskusyon natin na yun. I'd say 90% are in favor of either of the two bills. It's just a matter of ano ba? Diba? Regulation ba? Or total ban? Ganun na lang yun. So, I think even in a split, when you say split Senate, we still have rational members of the Senate who believe, and the majority of them will believe, that this is an immoral act that has to be stopped.
Okay, last question about this issue from Nympha.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Nympha, how are you?
Sir, irerekomenda nyo ba na habang tinatakal yung panukalang batas, pag-aaralan ito, suspindihin muna ang operation ng online gambling?
Well, sa kay Presidente na po yun. Kaya umapila na tayo sa kanya. He can make it happen. The President can make it happen. He's the head of PAGCOR. The chairman of PAGCOR is, of course, we all know the chairman is Al Tenco, but he works out of the pleasure of the President. Isang salita lang ng Pangulo, tigil na yan eh. O isang salita lang ng Pangulo, pwede ma-scale down yan.
Okay, Aaron, same question. Ay, related question pala.
Aaron.
Sen, good morning. Sen, clarification lang kasi it seems that you were using the word gambling and gaming interchangeably. By any chance, kasama po ba sa ban yung mga online games? Kasi marami din po mga kabataan na nagiging addict din sa games. Halimbawa, tulad ng Mobile Legends at iba pa.
Well, wala. Hindi naman kasama yung online gaming dyan. Wala namang pera involved dyan eh. There's no... But not as... Ito kasi, if you go to online gaming kasi, you'll see it similar to casino operations on your phone. So whether it is roulette wheel, di ba? Yung tawag dyan, yung baccarat, or pwede nga may mga, 21, yung blackjack, cards, either it's cards, it's roulette, slot machine that you'll see there. That's obviously online gambling, online game. Yes, that's a game of chance.
May taya.
Iba yung sport eh. Siyempre, yung mga anak ko naglalaro ng roadblocks, mga ano, we will not naman ban those. We'll not ban those. No money involved. Ito yung game of chance eh, with money involved.
Yung dumadal. Anyway, let's go to other matter, hot issue. Sir,
Uwi na ako. Thank you. Lunch na ako, guys.
Sir, some senators are saying that SP Cheese has more than 13 senators supporting him para sa Senate presidency. Your comment, sir, do you get the same information at do you think may chance pa ito mabago before the opening ng session sa July 28?
Eh di wow.
What?
Congratulations. Pagka ganun. Ako naman, we're not actively campaigning for leadership position. No? Ako, I'm not actively campaigning. Of course, I'm supporting Senator Tito Soto. And I've worked with him. I was his majority floor leader for 4.5 years. I was a loyal majority floor leader to him, I would think. No? Up to this day, ang akin lang kasi, let me speak about Senator Soto. So ang nagugustuhan ko kay Senator Soto, naniniwala siya sa consensus building katulad ng ginawa ko for my 2 years as Senate President. Nagko-caucus po tayo. Hindi po siya diktador na kung saan sasabihin niya, hindi, itong gagawin natin. Kung ayaw nyo, di pagdebatihan natin sa plenaryo. Hindi, ang style po ni Senator Soto, pasok muna tayo sa loob, magdebate muna tayo doon so that we don't show a very divisive Senate, then we come up with a consensus. And those who do not agree with the consensus can do the vote. No, there will be a vote, there will be an action, a motion on the floor. And yan ang kagustuhan ko sa kanya. So there's always consensus, there's always a caucus. para at least alam natin yung direksyon ng Senado ng linggong yan or for any issue, no? Very important issues that crop up under the Senate floor. So, with that said, mas gusto ko po ang leadership style ni Senator Tito Soto. And I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot also from Senator Endangara, who was my boss before when I entered in 2007. He mentored me. He was also a former Senate President. Diba? So, yan ang turo nila sa akin. Nung kasama ko yung mga statesmen at the time, Senator Joker Arroyo, Senator Miriam Defensor Santiago, Senator Juan Ponce Enrile, of course, Senator Frank Drilon. Pag nakikita ko yung leadership style nila, napakaganda eh. I mean, it's discussion-based and also consensus-based, but at the same time, there's no act to suppress your ideas. No, you can bring out your ideas, but at every turn, at every corner of the decision-making process, the integrity of the Senate is always protected. The name of the Senate is always protected as an institution. Yan ang maganda. Hindi pwedeng, bahala na. Basta gagawin natin to. Bahala na, magalit yung taong bayan sa atin. Hindi pwede.
But some of your colleagues are saying na mas maganda daw yung open discussion, mas
Yeah, okay lang.
transparent. Nakikita doon ng public paano pinagtatalunan yung...
That's fine. They can do open discussions. Sabi na ibang colleagues ko, mas maganda, doon kami mag-away-away sa floor. Tingnan nila na yun. 4 kaming veterano dyan. Sige nga, makipagdebate kami sa kanila. Kids, gloves off with me. I'm no longer interested in position. I'm no longer interested in prestige. I'm no longer interested in power. I am only interested in the image of the Senate and how we can leave the Senate behind as a still trusted institution of this country. And to be able to do that, we have to show transparency. Diba? We have to show transparency. We have to show, for example, sa budget, we now have to show transparency. I'm glad nandyan si Senator Ping Lacson. Ayan ang unang sususihin niya, isa-isa.
Budget.
Talagang makikita natin na yun. Di ba? Sabi nila, mawawalan ka ng committee. Bahala na, wala na akong committee. I've been in public service for almost 25 years now. I've been in the minority when I started my first term in Congress as a spice boy. Ako pala yung spice boy, ha? Iba tinuturing nila yung spice boy, bright boy yun, ha? Hindi spice boy yun. Ako lang yung spice boy sa Senado na lumaban, with due respect to some of my colleagues na natamaan nun, na lumaban sa makapangyarihan nung araw na yun to get the 77 signatures for an impeachment of then President Joseph Ejercito Estrada. I've been a member of the majority. I've also been a majority leader for 3 terms. And I've also become the Senate President. So, for me, committee, okay na yun. Sa inyo na yung mga committees. Wala ako dyan. Ang tinitignan ko na lang na yun, ang integridad ng Senado bilang institusyon. And let me say this, ang sakit ng aking dibdib nung isang araw na pakinggan ko under a news program in the afternoon on my way home. Pinag-uusapan nila itong issue ng impeachment. Sikat na announcer po ito sa hapon. Hindi ko na babanggitin kung anong station.
Blind item.
Ang sabi niya, hindi na lang kasi, ang sabi kasi niya, kung ayaw ng mga senador, di mas mabuti pang buwagin na yan, Senado. So I said, God damn it, that is exactly what we don't want to hear bilang senador, na walang saysay ang Senado. Na wala na tayong saysay. Bakit pa? Mas magulo pa nga kayo daw. Sabi, sa simbahan kapon, ano bang nangyari sa inyo? Mas magulo pa kayo sa house. Yan ang dating natin dito na yun. So, I've never heard that in my almost 25 years in public service. You know, for every legislator, ang pangarap nila maging senador. Parang judge yan eh. Parang judge, gusto mo maging Supreme Court.
Associate Justice.
Abogado ka, gusto mo maging Associate Justice of the Supreme Court. Yan ang gusto nila Dahil nakikita nila yung integridad ng Supreme Court. This is the policy-making body, this is the conscience of the nation, di ba? So, the Senate has always been, as I've said, the last bastion of our country, last bastion of democracy for our country. So, parang pag wala na silang pag-asa sa executive, wala na rin silang pag-asa dito sa lower house, akyat tayo sa Senado kasi papakinggan tayo ng senador because we are a mandate of national scope, national in scope, di ba? It's not only local, but it's national in scope. Kaya pag sinasabi na lang buwagin na yung Senado, wala nang saysay yung Senado, napakasakit para sa akin because in my 2 years as Senate President, yan ang inalagaan ko. Kaya inaway ko nga yung People's Initiative. Katakot-takot ang black propaganda sa akin. Di na ako nakatulog. Pag-check up ko, yung aking blood works, pula lahat. Pula lahat. Talagang magna cum laude ako pagdating sa mga resulta ng aking blood test. Dahil nga sa dinidibdib ko nga yung pangyayaring iyon. And of course, we all know, kung natuloy po yung People's Initiative na yan, that fake People's Initiative, then naging inutil ang Senado at baka wala ng Senado na yan. Who would have been a unicameral Congress or a parliamentary system ng namumuno, iilan lamang mga makapangyarihan. Kaya, at that time, when we defeated the fake initiative, People's Initiative, nagpa-SWS at Pulse Asia kami, the Senate was one of its highest ratings. Almost 78% approval rating ng Senate. And then, even my approval rating at the time, which is normally middle ground lang, mataas sa over 60+% yung aking approval rating at that time. Net satisfaction rating. So, dahil tuwan-tuwa yung tao, na pinaglaban natin yung institusyon as the last bastion of democracy. Now, I don't know what's going on. No, I really don't know what's going on. So if you ask me, and let me repeat what I said, I'm not satisfied with the leadership of the Senate, with due respect to the Senate President. Maybe there could be improvements to be made to how we're handling the Senate. Right? It's not a matter of position. It's not a matter of committee. Naawa nga ako. RG.
Okay, RG.
I don't know if you've been asked before, ba't kayo bumoto doon sa meeting if you feel that...
Because remanding is just trying to get an answer from them on the issue on constitutionality. You have to remember that I came out on the floor and I said that as far as I'm concerned, hanggang 19 Congress lang ito. Hindi lalabas to ng 20th Congress. Kailangan gawin ulit. That was my position. Now,
Kasi kailangan gawin ulit, kailangan mag-impeach sila ulit sa House.
yeah, because just like legislation, just like committee resolutions and committee reports, at the end of the Congress, tapos na yan. That's my personal position. And that's not my legal position. That's my personal position. Whether that is right or not, it's like Tolentino, Senator Tolentino, the majority floor leader, that was his position. So,
Personal position, kung magkakabotohan, yan ang boto mo.
no, but I'm also in favor of following the process. Do you understand? I would not have dismissed it outright. Alam mo yung remanding na yan, sa totoo lang, ang balita sa akin, hindi naman remanding ang pinag-usapan dyan, dismissal yun eh. Kaya nag-away nga si Sen Joel at si Sen Robin. Dahil nabibini ko si Sen Robin, napakinggan ko. Hindi, wala sa usapan yan eh. Di ba? So, wala sa usapan. So, ibig sabihin, siguro may pinag-usapan sila. Alam nyo naman, ako, tsaka si Senator Lawrence, tsaka si Senator Binay, kami po ay grupong slap soil. Ano yung slap soil? Di ba? Hampas lupa. At pagkatapos nga naging na kami, dead hungry. Di ba? Patay gutom. Kaya, out of the loop kami. So,
Dapat na-dismiss na doon.
Yun ang usapan.
well, I don't know. That was the chismis. Then, of course, and that's why there was a tension there because the group of Senator Bato really was pushing for dismissal. Now, if you ask me, as I mentioned earlier, as a member of then the Spice Boys in the 11th Congress, we were the ones who gathered the signatures of the impeachment of then President Estrada. We gave it then we were able to convince then Speaker of the House, Manuel Villar, to read it during the prayer. Kasi alam namin, magkakagulo because they still had the majority of members that were against the impeachment of the former president. So, nangyari doon, bakbakan, di ba, dinala sa Senado. What did the Senate do? The Senate could have dismissed it at that time and say that was not the proper procedure because there was no motion made on the floor. You read it as a prayer. But did the Senate dismiss it? No, they did not. They heard it. My point is, it's not about my personal opinion if she is guilty or not, the Vice President. Kasi ako, alam mo naman, taga Mindanao ako. Yung tatay ko hindi pumirma sa impeachment as former congressman. And we became heroes for it in Bukidnon. Talagang sa Bukidnon, 99% ng tao dun pro-Sara. So ang punto ko it's not about my personal anymore. It's not about my personal opinion or my personal vote on the matter or my personal feeling, no, if she's guilty or not. It is the procedure that must be followed. There is precedence. We've had in this Constitution, if I'm not mistaken, since 1987, only two successful impeachments. The third kasi, nag-resign siya. Nag-resign si Merceditas Gutierrez. On these two, it was acted upon by the Senate. So, I'm sorry, no? Wala naman nakalagay sa Constitution, nakalagay doon forthwith, di ba? Hindi naman nakalagay doon forthwith unless dismissed by the Senate before actual trial. Wala doon sa Constitution. So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, as you all know, but in my lengthy member as a legislator who has seen both of these impeachment exercises, I think we have to follow through. And then we do a vote. Huwag na kayo matakot. Kung pro-Sara kayo, di bumoto kayo. Against the impeachment, it's a political exercise. But the process has to proceed forward. It has to move forward. So now, that's my position. Kaya, I want to put that on record. No? Whether I'm pro-Sara or not, I cannot, I have to listen to the evidence that will be presented by them. Of course, I have some biases. I think that it is a witch hunt because they want to remove her from public service para yung iba makaupo at yung iba ay mawawalan ng kandidato na kalaban pagdating sa halalan ng 2028. But I will set that aside. I'll set my bias aside because we have to follow the process. Yan ang proseso ng konstitusyon. It cannot be changed. If we violate that, then we violate our oath of office when we say that we will defend and protect the Constitution of the Republic of the Philippines. So, definitely, we have to do what is right here.
So will you be proceeding with the process, trial, you mean trial, formal trial?
Yes, no, proceed not. Well, at least, let's invite the prosecutors. Tell them, ano ba yung ebidensya ng... Alam mo sa simbahan, Sunday kasi kahapon, sa simbahan na yun lang ako nakakita ng mga 4 na pamilyang lumapit sa akin. Ano bang tinatago ninyo? Ano bang ginagawa ninyo dyan sa Senado? Nasisira yung integridad, nasisira ang pangalan ng ating Senado dahil sa wala tayong ginagawa. With due respect, no, to my colleagues on both sides. Ang akin dyan, let's do what we are supposed to be doing under the Constitution. That's our constitutional mandate. And then we make a decision. Panindigan niyo yung decision niyo. Either to impeach or not to impeach, to acquit. So, yan na ang position ko dyan.
RG, meron ka pa ba? Okay na. Okay, before Dindo, Camille, Mayan, and Daniel. Sir, going back dun sa Senate leadership, mag-e-effort ka pa ba para makakuha ng support for Tito Soto or tanggap nyo na po na kayong posibleng maging minority pag nag-open ang 20th Congress?
I have a lot of privileged information. Yung mga kumakausap na sa akin na ganito, hindi magandang pakinggan. Kaya hindi ko na lang babanggitin. What are the reasons why they don't want Tito Sen? Why they don't want Ping Lacson? Masyadong stricto, masyadong kaya mahirap nang magsalita kasi ayaw ko naman maipit yung mga nagkukwento sa akin ito.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of accommodation. I think many of them were given the best committees that this Senate can be offered.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, our selling point with our group is to be able to repair the image of the Senate. And therefore, we want to make it more transparent, especially dealing with the budget. We want to give the committees to those who are rightfully deserving because of their qualifications. Maybe it's not saleable. It's not saleable to the members of this new 20th Congress. Tanggap namin. Ako gusto ko, I started my career as a minority member. I will end my career as a member of the minority. Okay sa akin yun.
And then yung group niyo tinatawag na conscience blacks.
Well, sabi ni Senator Ping, tinatawag yung conscience block. I call it veterans block. Kasi, to be honest, we don't have naman the monopoly of conscience. Di ba? I have members like Congressman Marcoleta or Senator Marcoleta. May conscience din naman yun. So ayoko naman, di ba? Ayoko naman sabihin na kami meron sila, wala. Parang Spice Boys yan di ba? Yung kalaban namin nun, Bright Boys. Sabi namin, di naman kami nagpapanggap na bright. Spicy lang. Banghang lang. So ako, I'd rather be known as a veterans block. And because we've seen it all, and we've seen how the Senate, at once upon a time, was its, of course, peak performance in terms of trust rating with all our kababayans. Sana we can bring it back to that level.
Okay, Dindo. Dindo muna.
Alam mo, naawa nga ako kay Senator Risa. Naawa talaga ako sa kanya. Alam mo, kampanya para sa kanya mga kandidato. Tapos sabi niya, gagawa siya ng sarili niyang bloke, na independent block. Yan. Na yun, mag-isa na lang siya.
Nasa
Kaya I heard na mag-isa na lang siya. I cannot confirm nor deny this. But,
willing yung i-adapt, sir?
of course, she's most welcome to join us. Although we have a divergent, I'd say, position on some issues. Kasi of course she's more on the left side. We're more on the conservative side. Many of you know I'm a conservative politician. So, but you know, when it comes to transparency, sama-sama kami. Di ba? When it comes to abuse of authority, dapat sama-sama kami na tumayo. We welcome her to join us. We'll adopt her even if she doesn't want to be adopted.
So 5 ang minority.
Well, no, I don't want to answer for her. Ang sa apat lang kami, handa na po kami sa pagiging minority.
Okay, Dindo.
Sir, nabanggit yun yung leadership style. Kay SP Chisba, hindi ka satisfied, especially sa pag-handle ng impeachment case. Hindi ka ba siya believe sa style ng leadership
Hindi
niya?
lang yan marami pang issues Ako, katulad niyan, yung sa budget, para kay pa ako nag-vice chair. Di ba? Tinanong nila ako kung gusto ako mag-vice chair nung sa budget noong 2025. So, I said, okay, I'll volunteer kasi para naman, wala naman akong committee. Di ba? May committee ako, Economic Affairs. Wala naman akong ginagawa. Alam niyo naman, gusto ko magtrabaho. So, hinandle ko yung sa DOST, Department of Science and Technology. Tuntua ako, nabigyan ko sila ng 1 billion additional budget, 1.4 billion, 1.3 billion. Pati PSI, Philippine Science High School, campus na bago, ganda, nalagay na namin sa budget. Pagdating sa BICAM, tinanggal lahat. Nabawasan pa. Yang hiya ako, kaya di ba nakita mo yung speech ko sa floor, dun sa picture taking sa BICAM, di ko nga piniman natin. I walked out of the BICAM. I was also upset on the handling of the budget. Apparently, I'm not the only one. Across the board, all the amendments given to all the departments, tinanggal, nilampsam, kung anong ginamit dun sa pera na yan, hindi ko na alam. Diba? So, now, we get a budget that education is only number 2 in priority, which is it's a constitutional violation, by the way, which is still being heard in the halls of the Supreme Court. So, if you ask me, that budget was the worst budget I've ever seen in my 25 years of public service. I mean, we all, as leaders, I had 2 budgets during my time. Sinagot naman ni Sani yung mga kung saan pumunta yung pera, nadagdagan yung edukasyon, nadagdagan yung military. Diba? Klarong-klaro. Ito, puro DPWH lang nadagdagan Diba? So, diba? Nabusog yung DP.
Dondi, meron ka pa?
So, yun lang. Kaya, that was just one of them. So, the handling of the impeachment is one. Of course, the budget's another. And the lack of transparency. For example, the Senate building. What is going to happen with the Senate building? findings came out na wala naman, on track naman daw. We're spending a lot. 4 kasi na tower yan eh. Di ba? So, ano na yung pangyayari dyan? Di namin alam. Matutuloy ba yan? Will it become a white elephant? We're not told what's going to happen to that.
Hindi ka na-update.
No, there's no update whatsoever. Don't know what's going on. Among their side, yung kumakausap lang sa akin doon, and I'll be honest about it, and I thank him for it, is Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Senator Cayetano is the only one lumalapit sa amin. Kinakausap kami, yung ano bang mga problema na pwedeng maayos. Kasi accounts chair siya, di ba? So, I have to thank Senator Cayetano. At least he reaches out to us. Me, Senator Lauren, and Nancy, who's now mayor of Makati. So, yes, I see that the leadership is lacking. We need some sort of, if not, then we're ready to be in the minority.
Okay, may Ann Camille and then from Rappler.
Sir, does it sadden you na kung sino pa yung mga veterano, experienced gaya ninyo, kayo pa yung hindi mag-lead sa 20th Congress? Kumbaga, pwede nga minority talaga kayo.
Yeah, actually, it saddens me because, alam mo, yung chairmanship kasi na yun, parang binibigay sa mga not so qualified members of the Senate sa aking pananaw. At tapos yung mga super qualified, katulad ni Senator Lauren Legarda, ay binigay sa kanya culture and arts na lang, na napakasipag naman ng tao. Sabi ko nga sa kanya, baka sa next Congress, hahatiin na yan. Baka ikaw na si culture, ako na si arts. Committee on Arts, siya culture. Dahil nga, hampas lupa na kami. Hindi, dead hungry, ano yan. Patay gutom na kami. So, paglaban na lang namin yung integridad ng Senado.
So wala pang pag-uusap sa committee chairman?
Wala. Kami, whatever.
Kayo, sir, what did
What?
Ano po yung kinuha? Makukuha?
Nothing. Nobody's talking to us anyways. So, nobody's talking to us anyway. So, wala problema. Yung masama doon, pati yung mga kasamaan ko na parang gusto ko na ilabas sa sama ng loob ko. Pero sige lang. Tayo lang naman, no? Tayo lang naman.
So, sir,
Tayo lang naman.
so, sir,
Online ba? Okay.
So, sir,
Hello, online.
sir, yung bang seatmates, buhay pa o disbanded na?
Wala na. Medyo masama ang loob namin kasi at least sana naman kinausap din kami. Alam naman nila si Tito Sen yung unang namin. I've been telling them, okay ba kayo kay Tito Sen? Tahimik lang sila, quiet lang sila. Tapos mamaya-maya may mga na pala sila. May mga decision na hindi naman kami sinama. Baka gusto nyo, sama-sama tayo na ito yung committees nyo. Ganyan. Wala. Hindi kami kinakausap. So it's okay. Kaya nga, patay gutom na kami.
Kaya ba paulit-ulit ka kanina na sinasabi mo, emphasize mo yung loyal majority?
I was just loyal to my, I'll tell you what. During the Farmally, kaya nga, my demise was because I respected the committee system. I respected the committee chair. My demise was I respected my committee chairs even under the insistence of some of my colleagues and some people in power to stop certain hearings. Kasi nakita ko yan sa Farmally. Nung panahon ni Tatay Digong, ni President Digong Duterte, they were trying to stop the Farmally hearings. 1 year yun kay Tito Dick Gordon, di ba? 1 year yun. And it came to a point that there was almost a coup attempt against Tito Soto at that time. I was approached, I will no longer mention who approached me, and asked if I was interested to take over his position. I said no. And that's for the record. I said no. At dahil I said no, nanatili din yung grupo namin sa seatmates block, wala silang magagawa. Di ba? So, tuloy-tuloy yung hearing noon.
So wala na seatmates, sir, ngayon? Wala na?
Hindi pa buwag ba?
Buwag na.
Well, hindi ko sabihin buhag, pero syempre,
Nag-iisa ka na lang ba sa seat?
kami ni Lauren.
Sila ni Lord.
Kami ni Lauren.
Sir, isa na lang, sir.
Meron kaming grupo, sa grupo sa aking aking Viber, may Viber group ako, Slap Soil Seatmates.
Ampas lupa.
Slap Soil Seatmates. Ako, Senator Nancy, Senator Lauren, sinama namin si Sec Angara. Kasi nabawasan yung budget niya ng education .
So hindi na kasama sila. Anyway,
Wala sa slap soil.
hindi na.
Meron din kaming grupo na
original seatmates. And
Pero wala na.
syempre, may mga joke-joke pa rin kami dyan. Yung mga
Akala ko tahimik na eh.
joke time.
Kailan yung huli?
Sino ulit nag-joke, sir?
Sa seatmates. Matagal ng panahon.
Medyo matagal-tagal na yata yung mga.
Sir, isa na lang. Sir, so tama po ba? Suko na yung grupo ninyo? Mukhang wala.
Hindi naman suko na kasi, I don't know. It's okay. It's okay with me. I treat them with respect. That's par for the course. We're in politics. Of course, in politics, there's no permanent friends,
No permanent.
no
enemy.
permanent enemies, only permanent interests. So,
Pero yun nga, sir, since meron na nga si SP Cheese ng majority, mukhang malabo na si SP Soto for now.
for now, yes. But you know, we're open to another third force. Baka may dark horse dyan na gustong tumayo. Why not? We talked about it sa grupo namin. If there's a dark horse that will come out, that's not necessarily us four, we're willing to support. Basta ang pangako lang niya ay transparency at integridad ng Senado. Yan ang mahalaga. Ang integridad ng Senado at isunod ang mga rules, mga batas, mga tinatawag natin traditions ng Senado.
But as for SP Soto, medyo malabo na for the opening of 20th Congress.
Well, as all the pronouncements of my friends from the other side is that they have the numbers, so be it.
But anything
later,
can happen.
anything can happen. Remember that mid-year, 2026, 2027, anything can yet happen. So, what is important is like-minded senators will get together and decide one day that if they're satisfied with the leadership or not. Our bloc is ready to support.
Okay, Camille.
Senator, yung impeachment po talaga is very divisive. Alam po natin yan sa buong bansa actually. Is support or opposition to BP Duterte's impeachment becoming a proxy battle in the race for Senate presidency?
Ano po yun?
Kasi yung race po, ito po bang impeachment kay BP Duterte?
Oh, yeah, malaking
ito po ba
bagay
ang
yun.
proxy battle para
She's still
sa...
the number one. She's still the number one in all the surveys that I've seen in the last 3 weeks. She's still the number one leading candidate. The last one nakita ko 35% siya. At nandun si Bongo at 14%. So kung tanggalin mo yung Bongo at tanggalin mo yung Bongo factor dun, that's about 49%. So, siyempre hindi naman yung boboto kay Bongo, boboto kay Sara din yun. So kung tanggalin mo yung numero ni Bongo, siya pa rin ang majority candidate o magiging number one candidate. So, yeah, some people, that's what they look at. They're looking at it as a race to remove her from office. And once impeached, she will be banned from running for public office. So, of course, that's one way of looking at it. But then again, let's see. Mahirap magsalita. I'm a senator judge now. So, as a senator judge, I don't want to put out any cards at the moment, and we'll see what happens when we go along.
Yung labanan po ba na to, Senator, is about yung mga gustong magtuloy ng impeachment at saka yung gusto na, yung ayaw magtuloy? Will it be a big issue?
Feeling ko, pag umpisa natin itong July 28, the preceding day, or the next day rather, July 29, there probably will be debates on the impeachment process. I think fundamental question is, itutuloy ba? Bakit tatanong ng presiding officer or tatanong ng Senate President yan? I leave it to the body, itutuloy ba? So yan ang botohan, kung itutuloy ba o hindi. I think ganun ang mangyayari dyan. So, we'll see kung sinong mananaig, sinong mananalo.
Okay.
Sir, do you think yung Senate presidency was decided along the lines of impeachment?
My silence is deafening. I don't confirm nor deny.
Last
Pero
two.
syempre, ano yun, par for the course yun. Diba?
Last two
Alam mo, sa
questions.
politics lang
Okay,
Ate Sally, scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Yeah.
Ganun lang naman yan, di ba? So, ano yan?
Teka, last two questions from Danielle and then from Rappler and then, kay Raymond pa. Okay.
Okay. Senator, so far, base dun sa nakukuha namin, the Senate leadership is a done deal as of now, right? But the opening of the 20th
Anything
Congress...
can still happen, guys.
Yeah.
Anything can still happen.
Still 3
I mean,
weeks
there's
away.
2 weeks to go. Maybe one of the blocks there will see us. So, we're not saying it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Although, signature-wise, I think it is. Marami nang pumirma doon.
Sa
Pero
resolution.
sa
May
resolution, I think may over 13 na sila. But anything can still happen between now till 2028. So, I mean, July 28. Oh, man. July 28.
Center mo no.
Inom muna ako ng kape. Nakape muna ako.
Graduation.
Ay, hindi pa gumagalaw yung Ha?
Oo.
Wala na ako. Retired na ako nun. Hindi, no?
Okay, tapos ka na, Rappler?
Meron pa. Sorry, sir, so
So it's
what...
still possible.
Yeah,
Anything
it's
can
still
still
possible.
happen. Yes.
So what do you think will turn the tide for Cheese Escudero or Risotto? Ano ba yung possible pa na maganap in the lead up to the opening of the 20th Congress that could possibly change the decision for now?
Well, I can't say. I can't say. I mean, they all have to examine their conscience on who they want to support. Diba? Ganun lang naman yan. It's an individual decision. Although it's by blocks. We all know there's a 7-man block, the Duterte block. You know, the Duterte block can join us. We're already 12. All we need is one. That's 13. Diba? They can join Cheese, then they have the number. So, there's also the other block. There's the Cayetano block. You know, so, maraming bloke din eh. So,
Nililigawan niyo yung Duterte Black?
dalawa pero kasama din, may mga kasama din sila. Well, for example, there's also the Tulfo block, dalawa. Cayetano block, dalawa.
Pero pumirma na daw.
Hindi, yung Estrada block.
Villar Black. Estrada Black.
Well, I guess yung seatmates na naiwan doon, 3 sila. Di ba? So, I mean, for example, if the seatmates all of a sudden decide to come back to us, then that's 4 plus 3, 7. Plus, let's say we get the Cayetano block, that's 7, 8, 9. So we just have to get 3 more. I mean,
Duterte
things
block.
can still happen. Things can still happen. Nothing is, we're not surrendering at this point in time. Basta importante na dito sa grupo namin, gusto sana namin protektahan ang integridad ng Senado. Maawa na kayo, bugbog na bugbog ng Senado. Bugbog sa matang tao, bugbog na bugbog ng Senado. So,
Never say die kayo.
never say die. Iron Eagle.
Okay. Danielle, then Raymond, and then Myla.
Kanta yan eh.
Sir, good afternoon. Sir, paano kung kayo yung lumaban do sa Senate presidency? May chance ba na makuha nyo yung Duterte block? And since sa Mindanao naman po kayo.
I don't want to talk about numbers at this point in time, partner. Mahirap ng pag-usapan yan kasi magsalita ako, mahirap na.
Sir, yung sa impeachment lang, sinabi nyo rin kanina na parang tutol kayo na tumawid. Dapat end na sa 19th Congress. So, ibig sabihin, pag nag-start yung 20th Congress at talakayin yung impeachment, hindi nyo na mabaharangin.
Hindi na. Well, pag din-decision yung grupo na ituloy ang diskusyon, we have to continue with the process. We have to continue with the process.
Okay.
Huwag tayo matakot bumoto. Diba? Bumoto tayo. Many of them have made up their minds anyway. So let's proceed with the process. You want to shorten it? Okay. But then let's vote. Let's decide.
Sir, si
Sa
Myla,
body.
yung kung nakita yung resolution,
Okay.
okay lang. Okay, Raymond.
Doon lang sa parang yung considering yung emotion ninyo regarding the Senate leadership. Diba, in 1 or 2 words, how would you describe the current Senate leadership? Just like you were saying before your times na consensus leader kayo. What about today?
Today, are you asking me if I'm still a consensus builder? Of course, I'm a...
How do you describe the current Senate leadership?
Ayun nga, medyo may... Sa aking pananaw kasi sa kanila, okay sila dun sa style na yun.
Pero sa aking pananaw, ay kulang yung aming consultations. Nalala nyo yung sa People's Initiative. Kung hinayaan ko na lang magdiskusyon kami sa plenaryo, wala kami consensus. Hindi nyo nakita yung front page natin na litrato, hawak-hawak namin yung 24 signatures on the resolution expressly going against that fake People's Initiative, di ba? I had to get that through consensus, through consultation. So that's my style. And when we discussed many measures, when we discussed Create More, when we discussed all the very important bills, pati Maharlika, we had to have consensus building and consultation. May debate pa rin sa floor. Hindi naman mawawala yung debate sa floor. Pero at least, ang kagandahan yan, alam nila yung issue. Di ba? Minsan, nasa floor na kami, nagtitingin na kami ni Nancy Binay, sasabihin niya, ano bang direksyon ng Senado dito? Hindi ko alam. Siyempre, mayroon tayong decision dito sa iba't ibang, or opinions dito sa iba't ibang mga issues. Pero, yan ang gusto sana namin maiba. And of course, we don't like yung divide and conquer, kakausapin isa-isa, tapos, pangakuan na mga kung ano-ano. Ayaw namin ng leader na ganyan. Wala akong binabanggit na gano'n. Sinabi ko, ayoko lang ng leader na ganyan. That's why I want to correct the misconception. When I said I do not like the dictatorial types, I wasn't referring to the current leadership of the Senate. I was just saying I don't like dictatorship-style leadership for the Senate, wherein isa lang tao ang magdidesisyon at bahala na kayo sa buhay ninyo. Kung gusto nyo, debatihan nyo ako sa plenaryo. Remember, as I mentioned, the Supreme Court, kanina, sabi ko, lahat ng abogado gusto maging member ng Supreme Court. Okay. Lahat ng member ng Supreme Court, ang leader niyan, you call primus inter pares. Correct, attorney? Primus inter pares only means that you are first among equals. Ibig sabihin, you are equal. The same as everybody. You're only tasked to be the presiding officer of this Senate. You should not have control of whatever funds and say who should be given to or who should be taken from. If that is the allowance of any senator, lahat ng senator dapat patas. Diba? Kung sa taon, huwag mong bigyan sa style ko, patas lahat. Ilan ba yung madadagdagan na staffing ng ating mga senador? If they need 5 for all, including the minority. Remember? We did that. Hindi yung dahil, slap soil yan. Wala yan. Kayo, 10. Kaya, yan ang ayaw natin dito mangyari sa leadership ng Senado. Di ba? Yan ang hindi nangyari noon at hindi dapat mangyari sa atin sa Senado ngayon. That's why, I miss the leadership, for example, Senate President Drilon, Senate President Soto, Senate President Juan Ponce Enrile, even Senate President Nene Pimentel, who I had the pleasure of being my minority floor leader when I was majority floor leader in 2007. They would probably now, they would be cringing on the fact of what's happening to the Senate. I'm sorry, with due respect, and some members will disagree with me, and they would probably hit me and say I'm speaking on my own. It's my opinion. They are entitled to their opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. And that is my opinion. Yung nakikita nating taong bayan, kayo na lang. Kausapin niyo yung mga kapitbahay ninyo. Ano bang nakikita nila sa Senado na yun? And I'm sure you will have the same opinion.
Okay, on that note.
Thank you. On that note, I just want to say, never say die and never surrender. There is still time. We are reformists. We feel that we have to, as Senator Ping Lacson is, add conscience to the discussion. And again, I'm saying it's not the conscience. For me, conscience is not a monopoly. And we're still hoping that many of our colleagues still have their conscience intact. And when the time comes, when we decide on banning online gaming, ay magkasama po kami, minority, majority, magkasama po tayo lahat para sa ating mga kababayan and on other issues as well. But before I end, I just want to say that I will always pray for our beloved Senate and for our beloved people. And I hope that the Senate can step up to the plate, providing integrity and efficient government service, particularly transparency, para maiba naman ang perception ng ating mga kababayan sa Senado. Ang Senado para sa akin ay palaging maiiwan as the last bastion of democracy. And we should give that people hope na pag inaapi sila ng agency, ng LGU, ng National Government Agency, ang pwede nilang lapitan ang Senado. Dahil alam nila ang Senado makakatulong sa kanila. Maraming salamat po.
Okay.
Thank you.
Magpa-file si sir ng kanyang mga
Bills,
priority
oh.
bills after nito. Okay.
Yeah.